I'm so excited to be here with my guest today for this chat. I'm speaking with Cynthia Levy. Cynthia is a lifetime educator. She's been an educator now for over 2 decades. And before we came on, we were actually discussing how for generations in Cynthia's family, there have been educators, all different kinds of educators. So I am so honored to be sitting here speaking with Cynthia. I've known Cynthia for years. I can attest to the fact that she is a dedicated educator. And now she's been in Legacy Lab, and we have been exploring all different modalities for teaching. And Cynthia is working on some wonderful things. Today, the topic of our discussion is going to be raising confident children, because at the end of the day, no matter what subjects we are teaching, we are giving these children roots and we are giving them wings to fly. And that comes from confidence. So we're going to delve into that. And with nothing further, it's so nice to have you here with me, Cynthia.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. This is really fun for me. I've never done this before. I feel
It's
famous.
it's amazing. This technology is so amazing that we can be speaking across continents. Here we are. I'm in Israel. Cynthia's in Los Angeles, and we're having a conversation with members of our group. So I will be keeping an eye on the chat. If you are watching this live, you can, stick comments in the chat if you have any questions, comments. And if you watch the replay, you can write replay and add your comments then, and we'll also address those. So I'd love to begin by speaking with you about, your experience. You've done so many things working with kids. Why don't we start there with, how did you become so passionate about education?
Well, something that I like to say I was born with, because it goes way back to when my grandmother was teaching me how to play the piano. And I learned that she was a music teacher. She was the first woman in her family to go to college. And it really started way back for me then when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I thought, I'm going to go to school and become a piano teacher. And for years, that's what I focused on. And as I got older, then I got a little bit away from music, but I just really liked my teachers in school. And I started staying in with them at my recesses and helping them set up the lessons for when the children returned. As I got older, I volunteered in classrooms. And so it just started for me at a very young age. And I've just known that I always want to do that. And I've never really wanted to do anything else. It was just the best thing for me to do.
That's so beautiful. So in terms of who you work with, let's talk a little bit about like the different ages you've worked with, and also, where you specialize, what you love to do.
Oh, well, I started out in the second grade, and I was so green. I was so nervous. I was afraid that they would fire me after a week. But I worked in a great place. I work in a great place where they were very, very patient with me and gave me the chance to grow. And it was really there that I learned about what confidence is. And I learned to like myself more than I ever have, because all my life I had just wanted people to give me a chance. And finally, they were doing that in this school. So I got a chance to just grow and grow from there. And so I worked in the second grade for about 4 years. And then I moved up to the third grade. And then I did some fourth grade and fifth grade work. But my specialty is really in the third grade. And I like that age the best because they're sort of leaving the young stuff, and then they're starting to get into the more older stuff. Their minds are changing. They have more opinions about things. I just find that I can do so much with people in the third grade. Not that I didn't enjoy the other grades, but third grade is really my
Your
favorite.
favorite. It's
Yeah.
your favorite. So it's such an adorable age. So let's talk about confidence a little bit, because it sounds to me like you have this firsthand experience of what building confidence really looks like.
Oh, yes. Well, I find that when you have, or some of the kids I meet, they come from families where maybe the parents aren't giving them a lot of reassurance. And for me, that's what you really need. You need someone to just reassure you, say it to you, you can do this. I know you can do this. You need someone to be patient with you. You need somebody to give you a chance, and to make the mistakes. And I was so very lucky to find this school because they allowed me to do all of those things. And that's how my confidence grew. And that's what I want to do when I help children is I want them to just be able to be and make mistakes and learn from them and know that I'm going to be there no matter what and that I'm going to be patient with them. I think that that's really where it all begins.
It's so beautiful. Well, they are so blessed to have you. I would
Thanks.
love to hear a little bit. I know you have so many passions, and they're so beautiful, what the different projects that you've been working on. So why don't we talk now a little bit about what you've been working on, your different interests, and what you're creating. I know that you've already started doing some teaching. So why don't we get into that a little bit?
Well, I'm now wanting to get out of the classroom a little bit and start an after school program. It will certainly focus on homework help and academic help, but I'm also wanting to get into the extracurricular activities. And one of my favorite areas, which I learned just by working from my school with the very, very first teacher I worked with, is I love American Sign Language. And I remember when I saw her do it for the first time, and the kids were just enamored by it. They loved it. And I thought, this is cool. I really have to learn this. So I'm self taught, not fluent, but getting closer every day. So, one of the things that I want to teach in my after school program is Introduction to ASL. In my experience, the kids love it because they can immediately go home and teach some of the signs I'm teaching them to their brothers and sisters. And I find that it gives them confidence because one of the ways that kids learn and one of the ways that they gain confidence is by teaching others. And this has been very, very successful for me. So this is a big part of my after school program. I'm also looking into teaching kids public speaking. I just became interested in that recently. It always saddens me when I have kids in the classroom who are too afraid to participate in class discussions. And I'm a member of Toastmasters, so I want to do what I can to help them overcome their fear of speaking, because I think they'll just enjoy school a lot more if they can participate.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so brilliant. You're saying so many amazing things here. You know, the first one being that when children can teach, it helps to grow their confidence. Giving them that opportunity to teach not only reinforces their learning, but it's also helping them to take themselves seriously and to
Right.
know that they can do meaningful things in the world. And then the other thing that you mentioned, um, about about public speaking is really giving them the opportunity to express themselves.
Right, which many kids do not want to do. They're just too shy. They're afraid of making mistakes. And I just feel like they're going to put so many limits on themselves by not wanting to speak out. And I really want to help them overcome that now, because I find that when you get older, it becomes so much harder. So I feel like it's good to start them young.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because in thinking about that child who, let's say on one hand, we have, a split screen, one child who doesn't receive the help with public speaking, watching the trajectory of their life without the confidence, without the skills to express themselves is going to look very different than the other side of the screen after having learned those skills, after having gained the confidence, and then moving forward in life. I mean, the doors that open with confidence and with the ability to express it are just
Oh,
vast.
yeah, it's just pretty much every door will open, I think, if you have confidence in yourself. And I feel that that's one of my main goals. The more children I can help gain confidence, the so much better it is, because they're the future. And we need children feeling good about themselves and wanting to try new things and not being afraid. So that's sort of my goal behind everything that I'm trying to do to help
Well,
children.
it is such an admirable goal. It is so beautiful. And I really appreciate you coming here to speak with all of us about this today.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been fun. I'm going to remember this. If I never do it again, I'll always remember this. It was very informative.
This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, Cynthia. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And it's just been a pleasure, really watching you. I remember the first lesson you taught was with one of the fellow Legacy Lab students for her children. And
That's
the
right.
feedback was just tremendous. And, it's really such a gift that you're giving by showing up to teach.
Well, thank you. I really love what I do, and I know I can do it forever. So I found the right thing for me to do. So that's good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amazing. Alrighty. So we're going to close up this live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
And alrighty.